Okay, YouTube, I almost forgot. But here's a demonstration of how this caulk tool works. Now, if you could see how much caulk is on here, you take this little tool. Hold on. My phone right here. I gotta clean this off. You take this. You take this little tool. Okay. And if you see it's, put it in the corner like that, and then you just pull. Okay? Go right to your corner. Now, look at what it did. Look at that line. Look at that line. You got a perfect caulk line. Actually, you could do it, even with that caulk on there, you could do it one more time. Clean your tool. See how I'm cleaning it with a rag? Hold on. Clean your tool with a rag. Get a little moisture on it. Okay. Now you see there's a little more caulk there. You just press it on there again. Go right across and look at that. Now you see there's a tiny little bit there. Just wipe that off. Oh. Clean the edge off with your finger. Okay, and that's how you see I got a little tiny gap in there. So watch this. I'm just gonna take a little bit more on my finger, and then one more time. Hold on. All right. Okay. Clean my tool. Okay. Now you see I got it back there. Make sure your tool is clean, because I don't want to get it on the cabinet. But now I'll stick my tool back in there again and drag it along. And see that? You got a nice, perfect caulk line in there. You can see a little bit of haze from the caulk. So you could actually take a wet rag now and just lightly wipe it. But that's all I'm probably gonna grout all of that too, because as you see, get rid of that rag. As you can see, I grouted this floor already. And this, I don't know what happened there. There we go. This floor is gonna have to get mopped down again, but you can see my caulk line with that tool all the way around. So that's all caulk now. All in here, there was that big gap in there. All the way up against the sink there. The corner over here. So I did all that with caulk first. All of this in here, as you can see, I grouted. So a little grout got mixed in there, but that's okay, because it's got to have a grout line. Now I'm going to use that same tool again. When this caulk sets up, I'm going to take the same tool and I'm going to do it with this gray grout that's on the floor. Here's how this bathroom looks now. I still got to hit this side right. Actually, I'll show you. What did I just do with that caulk on? Okay. So here we go. It doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter. Make sure you take your caulk gun. take your caulk gun. You see I got my, let me clean this end off. You see how I got my 45? You see how I got my 45-degree cut? You lay that right in the corner and slowly pull the trigger and go. Okay? Slow. You don't have to go fast. If you make a mess doing this, it's okay. Okay? Throw that there. Now, you make sure your little caulky tool's clean. Now you just take this tool, you stick it in there, and you just go right down the wall with your little tool. Okay? Wipe it off. You see how I'm cleaning it off a little bit? It's okay if there's a little moisture on there. See that glob in the corner, how that messy that looks? Watch this. Go the other way. And now that's just a little chip of paint or something that came off the wall. But that's okay, do it again. If you gotta go this way, go that way. As you see, I just clean that right up. Okay, now look at that caulk line. Look at that. Look at the wall. From the wall. Look at how perfect that is. This tool right here makes it easy. As you can see, if you're standing up here, I'll even zoom in on this here. And don't worry about that little bit that's right here. That little sloppy part, because I'm going to go over all of that with the gray grout. See how I'll demonstrate here too also. Let me put my phone down on the floor. Clean this tool, because I don't. So when you grout, as you can see, I already grouted in there. You could do the same thing with this here on your grout line. Watch this. Get that corn, get it right in there. Press down. Now look at look at that. Now I'm gonna fill this little corner. See, I got all that grout, and there's some missing in the corner. Stuff it in there with your finger. Okay, same thing. Clean your tool off. Now you could either use this tool this way, doesn't matter, or this way. I like to use the bottom part. So I'm gonna stick that in there again. And you don't even gotta wipe that down. But I'm gonna wipe it down because I don't like that little line. Now you could you could see that black line there. Okay, from the tool. Watch this. Don't worry about that. Couple little rubs with a rag. Couple little rubs with the rag. And look at that. Let me zoom back out because I'm zoomed up. Wait. What the hell's going on? Okay. There you go. Now, look at that grout line. Look at that. As you can see. I could probably wipe it a little bit more, but you don't have to clean it all off now. Let that set up, let that dry. See, I'm not even worried about this little bit of grout. Look, you got a little scraper on here. You can get your little scraper like that. Now look, I basically just clean that up a little bit better. But let it dry, because you can keep playing with that. If it's wet, you can keep playing with it all day. But I just wanted to show you this little $5 tool. $5, guys. $4 and change. This little $5 tool is amazing. And you'll have nice grout like that. Of course, the walls aren't even. I mean, nice grout, caulk, whatever you use this for. Grout, caulk, of course. As you can see, the wall's all crooked and uneven here, but that's the wall pushed in, because, you know, the tiles are perfectly straight. So I had to put a ton of caulk in here. Because like I said, here's your spot when they use the shower and don't have, or they don't put the shower curtain on, right? What the hell is on this? Somebody. Okay. I don't know what that was. I think it was compound. But anyways, there's nothing you could do about that right there. I mean, I'm gonna just grout it. Once I grout it, it'll be okay. I mean, this is like I said, if it was my house, I'd probably cut the sheetrock out and fix it. But this is just like I said, another owner's. I didn't do this grout line yet because I put a lot of caulk in there. There's all caulk underneath that. I showed you with that piece in my last video. If you watched that video, I filled that with caulk and then I pressed the tile into the wall. There. So this got a tile border now, as you can see. Here's another. Here's how I did the corner, and of course you can't 45, but if you look at how nice and tight I got that. Oh, I see a little grout in there. I see a little messy grout spot in there. So again, there you go. Look at that. Cleaned it right up. But you can see how nice. You can see how nice and clean this tool cleans everything right up. So you could use this for everything around your bathtubs. But it kind of looks off. It kind of looks crazy right now. Because people are probably saying, oh, you're not going to leave that like that, right? That white looks horrible. No, that's not going to stay like that. That's just to seal everything watertight, okay? I put silicone caulk in there, guys. When that silicone dries, all on the top of there, because that's like I was just explaining. If your toilet leaks or anything, or this breaks, the water's going to squirt behind there, get under the floor. The whole object of and the whole reason of doing what I'm doing like this is just to make this as watertight all around the tub area as possible. So this is the best thing to do. Or where the sink is, anything like that, just caulk everything first and then put your grout on top of the caulk. It'll stick, trust me, it will stick. You know, you don't even have to wait till the caulk dries all the way. I'm gonna have to paint the wall now too, because this freaking, see the spots. I'm gonna have to touch up here. I'm gonna have to touch up there. That's okay, little touch up. But what I'm getting to is, even if this is halfway dry, okay, for best results, let the caulk dry like halfway, so it's still a little bit pliable, and then you can put your grout right over the top of that, and you'll fill all that in. And then if you're not a good painter, then you tape it, tape the top of that, and then do your paint. But once I do grout, I'll show you again. Once I grout all this afterwards, I'm gonna use the thicker end, okay? I use the small end of the, where is it? I use this small. You see, I use this, let me clean that up. I use the smaller end. I use this end of the tool, and that's just caulk and stuff coming off of there. Because I didn't clean it good. I gotta clean this up. But I used, I don't know why my light is on my phone. I used this end. Now when I do the grout part, I'm gonna slide this up like this. And I'm going to use that part because it's a thicker thing. So I'll put that up there. And as you can see, if you could see that space there, that's not even touching my caulk now, you see? So now when like I said, you flip it over, use the bigger end, and then do your grout over that caulk. And everything will be nice and watertight. You won't get, especially here, you could, like I said before, when I'm done over here, you could dump a pail of water, or you could dump 5 gallons of water on this floor, and it's not going to penetrate or go through this floor, because this is all good sealed grout. You can see it drying. Gotta fix that right there. But everything gets in here. But that's all, the grout is all sealed. And if you get pre-mixed grout, I mean not pre-mixed, if you get regular grout that you gotta mix with water, what you do is, whatever parts it says to mix grout and water, you actually get yourself some grout sealer. Because if you don't, a lot of pre-mixed grout is already got sealer in it. Read the thing, it'll say there's sealer in it. You don't have to you really don't have to seal a lot of pre-mix. But if you buy the kind that you gotta mix yourself, then what you do is you buy your sealer, your grout sealer, and actually mix the sealer into the grout. So you just pour some sealer. In other words, do it like whatever it says, however much water it says to add to the grout to mix it. You put so many ounces of water to so many scoops or cups of grout, and you mix it up. So just do it like half and half. Or yeah, do it half and half. That's the best results I found in all the years I've been doing it, is I will do half and half. I'll put the grout sealer, whatever I'm going to put water, I'll pour the grout sealer in there. Don't forget, water is going to evaporate, okay, as it's drying. So the water content is going to evaporate and dry. So the sealer is actually going to, once the water content dries, your sealer is going to be all the way through your grout. You know what I mean? Not just on the surface, as if you use the stuff you got to mix, then you got to seal all the lines after. You know what I mean? You got to go around all with a little tool or a little spray bottle, squirt bottle, and you got to spray the sealer around and clean it off. You don't have to do that if you mix the sealer in with your grout. Like I said, whatever it says, whatever it calls for, you mix half of it with water and half of it with your grout sealer. Mix it all right into the powdered stuff, and then put your grout on the floor and grout your floor. But the thing is, don't leave it for a long time. You know what I mean? Just clean it. Like grout from grout maybe from that tub, grout maybe 4 or 5 feet out from there to where I'm standing, 4 or 5 feet an area, okay? Let it sit. If it oh, excuse me, if it's really hot, you know what I mean, you could wipe it right down in like 2 or 3 minutes, because grout gets hard pretty quick, believe it or not. Gets hard pretty quick. And this stuff here, I'm just gonna tell you that you'll be scrubbing this stuff. The grout that I used, well, that this guy bought, yeah, that I used, is premixed grout, simple grout. You know what I mean? It's Home Depot stuff, yeah. But what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying now. Oh, don't leave this on the floor. Trust me, I don't care what this bucket says. Do not leave this stuff on your floor for longer than 5 minutes. I'm telling you now, you'll be scrubbing this stuff off. Because this gray in here, as you see on my hand, you can see it, there you go. It stains. Okay, that's why every little spot you see here on all these spots on the wall, and this is fresh paint, all this stuff you see on the wall, that's the freaking grout. So especially if you have a white tub, listen, if you have a white tub, as soon as you put this grout on and it gets a little bit on your tub, on your cabinet, your white cabinets, don't leave it, don't wipe that right off right away, because it will stain white. It'll stain your baseboard. Well, you shouldn't have baseboard when you're tiling the floor anyway. But anything, clean it off right away if you get it on that kind of grout. Any kind of grout, really. But the gray mostly. The gray. I work with this gray stuff a lot. As you can see, you can see this floor here, how nice it came out. And I'm gonna fill all of this. I'm not worried about that. There's a big, oh, there it goes. There's a big chunk of board. Oh, there goes my screwdriver bit. You see that? I've been looking all over for that. I don't know how that got there. But yeah. Don't leave that grout on the floor. Take my advice. Do not leave that grout on the floor for longer than 15 minutes because, like I said, I don't care if you use warm water or not. You will be scrubbing for hours, even in a little floor even on a little floor like that. And the whiter your tiles are, the lighter your tiles are. I mean, these tiles are obviously gray, so you can't see. You can't see the stuff soaking in the tile and staining it up. That's why I clean it off quick. And I do all this grout. I didn't use a float on this, okay? I do not use floats. Floats don't press the grout down in the lines. I use my hands. I take my fingers and I rub, as you can see. I'm rubbing this grout now. I just grouted this floor maybe an hour ago. Okay? And as you can see, it's not coming out. It's already solid from an hour ago. So I rub all my grout in with my fingers. I push it all the way down till I can't push it down no more. That way I know that my grout is deep in the floor. It's never coming out. And then, like I said, I do about 4 feet out. I do a little 4x4 area. I let it sit for like a minute or two. And then I wipe it down. And what happens is when you rub it in with your hands, you could use gloves if you want. I mean, you can't feel. I like to feel how deep the grout is going. I like to feel it on my hands and make sure I'm pushing it all the way down into the, as far as it could go down into the cracks on any floor. I always put it in with my hands. And it makes actually a less mess if you're floating the whole floor. Because if you do it with your hands, with your fingers, you could use gloves. Because you could basically, if you have thin gloves, rubber gloves, you could actually do it with your gloves. Now when I do it like this, I take a little, grab some out with my fingers, and I rub it in like this, you know. I rub it all in there. I should have showed you that. One video I'll make and I'll show you how I do it. But then I only got grout on in an area this big, okay, around the tile. I don't have all that stuff to clean off the tile. It's so much easier putting it in with your hands. And believe me, then you know for 100% fact that your grout is nice and deep in all your lines. And it's going to come out a lot more even. That way, I'll tell you another thing. That's why I do it is when I'm wiping it down, I know my grout is deep in there. I know when I wipe it all down, I can wipe it and scrub hard if I have to. And the grout's not going to go nowhere because it's deep in there. I pushed it all the way down with my fingers. So that's the way I do it. You can do it whatever way you want, but if you don't press the grout all the way down and you got a wet sponge and you're cleaning up, you're going to have to re-grout a whole bunch of spots. You know what I mean? Do it with your fingers. You feel it going down, pushing. You can feel it actually pushing all the way down to no more, until you can't stuff anymore in the cracks. You wipe it down. You're not going to have to re-grout again. And I gotta sweep this floor down because it's I'm gonna sweep this floor down right now. But there you go. I'll make another little short video after, and all this ugly white that you see over here, all that's gonna be gone. In my next video, I'll have the sink on, hopefully, and the faucets. Oh, I see another spot of compound. I gotta hit right there. Right there. See what happened? You can't see it sometimes at first, but I gotta just touch that up with a roller. But here's the here's how this bathroom looks now with the sink. Is my okay, yeah. That's how that looks. See how nice that sits on the floor there? Right on the floor. This actually has tiny little, if you look right there, this cabinet has actually tiny little feet to just keep it. It's like a quarter of an inch off the floor, which is good. Because you know what? That's not gonna rot out now. If water gets on the floor, it's not gonna, see what this is, particle board. So whoever made this cabinet, these cabinet guys are smart. If there's little plastic feet like that under your cabinet, leave them there. Actually, if there's not, you should go to Home Depot and buy them and nail them on. That way your cabinet's a quarter of an inch off the floor. Water gets on the floor now, your cabinet's not gonna rot out. And here's underneath the cabinet. It's all grouted in there. And look how nice, look how, see my light's on too. Look at how nice and tight that is to that cabinet, the piece of baseboard there. My tile baseboard. And you could see how nice my edge is right here. Nice and flush. And you know, so don't think anything's impossible. You could make anything work. Now, what I was saying about when the baseboard's on, now look at that. Do you see how those tiles look? From standing outside the bathroom, as I get closer. Remember what I said about these, if they're a tiny bit off, it doesn't matter. Look at how nice and even that looks now. You can see it. And it flows nice straight through. I don't have big down here and small down here. It probably looks like that from the camera, but if you walk down the wall, you can see. And these walls, like I said, look at the walls. These walls are all over the place, but still, it looks good now. Now you can see why it doesn't matter. I wanted to make this part of the floor even on both sides, okay? And now you see the cabinet covers all of this. Now your toilet's gonna go here. That's a whole lot better look there, okay, than if you try to cut your tiles on this wall and you try to cut your tiles even on this wall, then you throw off all of that in the center of the doorway. And that's your focal point. When you walk into any room, what's your focal point? When you first look to a doorway is what you see first. You know what I mean? You don't want to open a bathroom door and look in and your tiles, you know what I mean, are off center to the doorway. That looks ridiculous. You want your tiles to look like that in the doorway. Nice and even. Every other tile, as you can see, that's the 6. You got your 6, and then it flows right through. Every other row. So this is kind of like a subway. This is kind of like a subway tile design, but they're not half and half, because on the box, this is how they recommended to do this. And now, if you look at the floor this way, you see how it's got that pattern? You got 1, 2, 3. You see what I mean? It's like every other tile. Boom. Yeah. It's got a nice flow to it. And that's how the tiles look on the top. This tile floor is really nice. These aren't bad tiles. I mean, they were cheap tiles, but you know what I mean? And they were a little slight bit uneven, some of these tiles. A tiny bit. I mean, I've seen a lot worse. But as you can see, if you look at all my corners. Now, you can't put, if you've seen when I put my spacers, I stood them all up. you're still going to get even consistent, pretty much all even consistent lines. You know what I mean? All my corners, as you could see. All the corners where one tile hits the other. Look, I'm going to go over this whole floor. As you can see, all my corners. Even though I didn't put tiles in the corners, because you can't this way. But you can see every single corner with this, how crooked this floor was, are all nice and even. All of them. Even that one. You can see that. Look at that one. Even that one. Look, even that one. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. Nice and straight. So, watch my video from beginning to ending. Do exactly what I did. And your floors will come out like that. And your floors will come out just like that. Perfect. Perfect. And this is, and so basically we went from crap. Actually, this was what was on the floor. This is what was on the floor before this linoleum stuff, but he's keeping this. He don't want to do the kitchen. I would, if it was me, since I'm putting all this flooring down here, I would have just I would have just did this whole kitchen too. I mean, what's it gonna cost? Another $100 for what is it? 22 square. There's 20. There should be 20. Before I even look at this, there should be 20 square foot of box. Let me see now. Yep, look at that. 6-inch plank, 24 square feet in a box. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 13 by 7. So you would need about 4 boxes, 4.5 boxes to do this under there, under the stove, under the refrigerator. And I think, I don't know how much he paid for these boxes, but I would say $180 tops. Another $180 he could have just did all of this, but I guess he didn't want to spend the money. Like I said, if it was my place, I would. If I'm doing all new floors everywhere, you know, why not just do the kitchen? Which these are going to match pretty good too. And this isn't, I thought this was freaking tongue and groove laminate. This is not tongue and groove laminate. This is sticky.